Oh, sorry. I'm dropping
This
my-
public hearing of the Judson Board of Trustees is hereby called to order at 5:30 PM. I'm very pleased that you have taken time to join us this evening. I extend to each of you a sincere welcome from the entire board. Thank you for your interest in Judson ISD. We have established a quorum, and we will take roll. Do I need to advance it? It's not working for me either, but I don't know. Proceed? Okay, there we go. All right, we have taken roll, and we have a couple of board members that are running late that will probably be here during the course of the public hearing. So the item on the agenda for this hearing is the presentation of the budget for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. I want to note that there was a clerical error in the posted agenda, which stated that the budget being considered was for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. That is incorrect and has now been corrected, so it should reflect the 2022-2023 fiscal year. So we'll now hear that presentation.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Mr. Atkins if he'd like to start to set up. Mr. Atkins and Scott have done a lot of work and presentation to provide you this information, so we will continue to discuss information on our budget. And this is the hearing part. This is not the formal approval part, which will be later on in the meeting.
Thank you, Board President, and members. So tonight is our budget hearing. It's very similar to the same one we do every year. The legal requirements of adopting the budget. The legal requirements for adopting the budget was that it's completed by June 19th and it's adopted by June 30th. So how are districts funded? Average daily attendance is the main driver. Local taxes are part of it, federal allocation, and then we do get grants occasionally. So our budget assumptions this year, again, are average daily attendance of 22,030. We staffed according to the basic school model. We have an estimated taxable value of $12,650 million. The budget does include $650,000 for increasing capacity of the C&I department, an MO tax rate of 0.8546, and an INS tax rate of 0.3654. Remember, this is an estimate. We'll probably adopt this in September. A 4% midpoint raise for professional staff, a 6-point midpoint for auxiliary clerical teachers, nurses, librarians, and counselors. A 1,000 auxiliary clerical spring incentive, a 1,000 ESSER winter incentive, and a minimum starting wage for full-time auxiliary of $15. So our general operating fund projected revenue, $111,520,000 local, $116,932 state, $5,348,000 federal, total revenue $233,800. And that's kind of how it breaks out. Our expenditures, $217,450 in personnel, $41,304,460 in operating. And 84% of our projected expenditures are in personnel, but it's 93% of our revenue. So this is what our fund balance is estimated to look like. If we adopt the budget tonight, we have a $24 million, almost $25 million deficit budget, but we do have a healthy fund balance. Child nutrition, again, most of their funding comes from the federal side, so very little local, very little state, 17.8 in the federal, total of 18,378. That's what that looks like. Personnel, $8 million. Operation expense, $10,331,000. And their fund balance is estimated to go up this year, and estimated that we'll put in about $2,100 next year. Interest and sinking, 44.3 from the local. We get a little bit from the state, 610,000, 44,910. And debt service at 44,910. So that's a balanced budget. And that's what all funds, 156 million in local revenue, 117 million in state, 23 million in federal, $297 million. Expenditure, 225, 495 in personnel, 51 in operations, and 45 million in debt service. And so we look at our operating decrease, fund balance of 25 million, increase in the child nutrition of 2,100, and a balanced budget in debt service. And again, these are the estimated fund balances at the end of next year. We do want to note that the homestead exemption increased this year to 40,000, up from 25. The legislature will convene in January, so we'll see what they do. I think safety will be a legislative priority. I think school funding will be a legislative issue. We still have to plan to address aging infrastructure, repairs, upkeep, and we just don't have the funds in our general fund, operating fund to do that. Support for extracurricular activities. This is one of the ways kids come to school. They want to be participating in something. And we've got to work on the community involvement and trust. So possible issues, again, higher cost payroll, 93% of revenue. Supplies, their cost is up. Utilities, insurance. Again, maintaining and upgrading facilities. Bus replacement schedule. Maintaining, upgrading existing buildings, mechanical systems, and maintaining a one-to-one student technology. All of those are issues. And so with that, I'll take comments, questions, concerns from anybody in the room. Okay, thank you.
I just have some comments. In regards to what Mr. Atkins mentioned about the facilities and those type of things, that's why I asked for the board to please come and have another meeting on June the 30th. At that time, I'd like to discuss those things with the board, also along with lots of safety recommendations and ideas. So just wanted to give, of course, the board already knew about this, but mainly the public, that we do want to have a special board meeting on June the 30th to talk about safety and security and how we will address those needs, how we will address the needs that are related to our facilities and infrastructure and those things. And I'm sure that by June the 30th, other things will come up too, that it's always a busy summer and we'll add more to the agenda. And I appreciate that the board is always willing to meet and be so flexible about that. So I appreciate that very much, but just know that that is on our agenda for the upcoming meeting. And Madam President, if there is no other questions or comments, then we can conclude this part of the meeting.
All right. So are there any comments or questions from the board or from the public? Okay. So we will adjourn the public hearing at 5:40.
Yes. Betty, if the board would like to, they could go to the sunroom right now or to that area and,